The Christian Union is a Dutch political party currently led by Gert-Jan Segers, who is also the leader of this party in the second chamber. The leader in the first chamber is Roel Kuiper and the leader in the European government is Peter van Dalen. The Christian Union currently has 5 seats in the second chamber and 3 seats in the first chamber. The second chamber has in total 150 seats and the first chamber only 75. This means that the Christian Union has relatively more seats in the first chamber. Before the Christian Union was formed, there were 2 parties, the GPV, short for Reformed Political Alliance, and the RPF, short for Reformatory Political Federation. The GPV has existed since 1948 and the RPF since 1975. These 2 parties were already holding meetings since 1989, so eventually, on the 15th of March, they were united to form one party, the Christian Union. This was necessary because of the lack of votes of both the GPV and the RPF got, and if they would indeed unite to make one party, their seats in the first and second chamber would increase. In the elections of 2002, the Christian Union put itself available for election, and they got a total of 4 seats in the second chamber, which is 1 less seat than the GPV and the RPF combined last year. They lost another seat in 2003. When the first Balkenende government fell and the elections need to be held again. These elections, the Christian Union lost another seat, putting the total of seats in the second chamber 3. Despite this loss, there was a possibility of the Christian Union and the SGP forming the government with the VVD and the CDA. Unfortunately, the VVD and CDA chose this D66 over this possibility. However, in the elections of 2006, their seats increased to 6. Doubling them in comparison to the elections of 2003. André Rauwvoet and his talent for debating probably caused this doubling. Immediately after this success, there was a talk of the Christian Union as a third coalition partner for a majority government. This was however dismissed and the government was formed with the CDA, PVDA and VVD. When the third Balkenende government fell, this option was reviewed once again, and with success. CDA and PVDA agreed on a new government with the Christian Union as a third coalition party. André Rauwvoet and Wouter Bos from the PVDA became vice premier and the other members of the Christian Union became ministers of youth and family, defense, transport, public works and water management. In 2010, after a long period of conflicts, the government fell apart. In the next elections of 2010, the Christian Union lost 1 seat in the second chamber. The provincial council elections didn't go that well either. They lost a lot of seats. In the elections of 2012, the Christian Union managed to keep 5 seats in the second chamber. In April of 2011, Rauwvoet announced his resign as party leader and was succeeded by Arie Slob. In November of 2015, Gert-Jan Segers became the new party leader.
The ChristenUnie is of course a Christian party. The main focus of Christian parties is on the Bible. The Bible inspires them, mainly because the Bible tells about society and how to live together in peace. The ChristenUnie wants to be a party for all Christians. They believe that the gospel can be a painful but honest mirror for us, and it also shows us that we're even worse than we like to believe. We have to change. In the same time, the gospel is also a liberating message that gives us hope for the future. We need to take care of each other and God's creation.
One of the Christian Union's most important ideals is that Sunday should be a rest day and the shops need to be closed. They also want that abortion and euthanasia practices should be reduced and eventually replaced by alternatives, for example, care of women with unwanted pregnancies. Soft drugs and prostitution should be illegal and child pornography should be combated even more. According to the Christian Union, the Netherlands should remain independent within the European Union. We should also limit the use of genetic manipulation. For example, we should make less genetically modified plants, animals, or food. It would be a good idea to increase the budgets for development cooperations for countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. Instead of giving them 0.6%, we should give them 1% of the GDP. The value of a country's overall output of goods and services at market prices without income from abroad. A more open policy towards asylum seekers, especially those who are persecuted for religious reasons, would be a good idea. These are some of the ideals of the Christian Union.
In our country, we have the possibilities to have Christian parties. The ChristenUnie is aware of the fact that that's kind of special. There are only a few countries where Christians get the same opportunities as the ChristenUnie. The mission is to let the society function in God's will. That mission doesn't stop after the Dutch borders, and that's exactly why the ChristenUnie is also active in Europe. Peter van Dalen is a member of the European Parliament for the ChristenUnie. He was born on the 3rd of September in 1958 in Zwijndrecht. He is a member of the Committee on Transport and Tourism, Committee on Fisheries, and member of the Delegation for Relations with India. He is in favor of the Eurorealisme. He believes the cooperation between the European countries is useful and that we need it, but it must not lead to a superstate.
If the Christian Union would have 76 seats in the next government, there would be many changes. As I said earlier, Sunday would be a rest day, and abortion and euthanasia wouldn't be allowed, and many other changes would happen. So, as of now, the current parties aren't that similar to the Christian Union. Now I am going to compare the Christian Union and the CDA, two Christian parties in the Dutch government. Some people think the Christian Union and the CDA are similar parties, but there are many differences. One difference is that the Christian Union is a left-wing party and the CDA is a right-wing party. Some other differences between the Christian Union and the CDA are that the Christian Union is against prostitution and coffee shops, and the CDA is for coffee shops and the legalization of prostitution. The Christian Union wants its shops to be closed on Sundays, but the CDA doesn't want that. The Christian Union is also against abortion, but the CDA isn't.